Hi y'all. So I've been thinking about you. I miss you, and I've been thinking about you, and I'm trying out. Sorry, this is like crazy. I should have got this done. I've been trying out these different tools. Uh, Rebecca sent me an awesome Prezi to give you an example of how to do your final projects. And I think and I'll send it to you, and that's one way you can do it. You also can do this. I'm trying out this tool. It's called Screencast-O-Matic. Um, to see how this works, you have to have a YouTube channel. You record it and you upload it to YouTube, and then you can share it on Canvas. Um, I want to talk a little bit about my process and where I'm at. I did have my son this weekend, which was nice because I was able to get a lot of writing done. I think I wrote my process is I usually write. I have a playlist, musical playlist, different music playlists in iTunes or iMusic, whatever it's called, in Amazon Music. And once one of those playlists starts, I know how long they are, either 2 hours or 3 hours, and then I'm in. And I usually sit for that amount of time, probably to my detriment. I probably need to get up and do a little more stretching and walking around because I'm throwing my back out a little bit. So I'm writing a novel. I'm finishing the second draft of a novel. I've written a lot of short stories, a lot of short stories, and a lot of poetry. This is the poetry book I've worked on, honestly, for years. A lot of these poems have been published. Some have won awards. Um, some have just been published in small literary journals and such, and published and excuse me, revised greatly after publication. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is that last night a poem that has been bouncing around in my head really for maybe a decade or longer. Never was quite right. It kind of was made right last night on my walk. It sort of understood it. Like it just took a couple words and suddenly it was there. And I want to read it to you. It goes well with what we talked about in class about our shadows and carrying around our baggage that we get from childhood and sometimes dumping that off onto somebody else or many somebodies before we realize that that baggage is ours. And we need to like take the things out one by one, dust them off, and figure out how to incorporate them into our lives, right? The shadow stuff, I'm really interested right now. There's a lot of shadow stuff flown around out there right now, a lot of fear. We could tap into that if we want to, totally fine to do so. There's no judgment, right? Be afraid if that serves you. Fear doesn't really work for me so well. I mean, I'm good at it. I'm good at being afraid, but I don't really like it. So I'd rather get in my own space. I see a lot of people sharing on social media in really cool ways, actually, sharing their process, opening up their worlds, their lives. So I'm going to share this little poem that came together last night. Now, under the weight of big April rain, cut with sudden stabs of light, the flowers bend in supplication. Cooperate, they say. Why not cooperate with your own darkness? So that's a little poem. When I write my novel, when I'm writing my novel, I have a notebook. I don't know why I have this stupid uh, hello, my name is. Actually, I know why. I went to this event. They gave me this about an hour in. I said, I could be doing so much more for myself by skipping out on this event and going to write, which I actually did. And I put that under my folder. But anyway, I have 4 of these. So I fill up 4 of these so far with time. Like that's just important to me. Like I note how long I sat, the times I sat, my intentions of the day. While I'm writing on the screen, I often write down other things, jot down other ideas over here. I know many of you have talked about your own processes of writing and getting stuff down. For me, it's helpful to have something just like not virtual that I can hold on to. I also write down like quotes that I like that maybe don't end up making my novel or don't make it the novel at the moment in time. Usually while I'm writing, I have a lot of comments on the sides, and some of these comments will end up going just to a slush pile that I'll later pull from, as we all do, right? Saving your work. Like a lot of times you try to jam stuff in, it just doesn't feel right. You have to pull it out, and you find space for it later. And that's the beautiful part about creating works of art. Anyway, I have notes here and things that are important to me, but here's the deal. Let me see if I can find something actually that I like. What all stories tell us, either directly or indirectly by means of the consequences suffered by its main character for a decision they make, is that to do something original and great is to learn to break the most sacred beliefs held by those in authority. This also means we must break our own rules that say we must always obey. So I know I liked it because I wrote it. It just came out of my notes, and I wrote it. I don't know why I'm holding it down in my picture. I wrote it in a different color. Anyway, so that's my process. Here's what we're going to do. For one of the assignments, the next assignment, not the next assignment that's due, but the next assignment after the assignments that's due, I'm going to break the group up into, break the class up into a group. I'm going to have you present no more than 6 minutes your process, what you're going through. Tell us about your life. Tell us about what you're afraid of. Show us your house if you want to, and introduce us to your cat or to your brother or sister or to your lover or to your parents or to your stuffed animal, whatever it might be. But show us your process of writing too. Let us know what's up. And then this might be a tool that we use for our final projects. I'm going to send you that Prezi from Rebecca as well. Thanks for listening. Oh, by the way, this was my third take because I talked about some stuff that was way too personal, and I realized you don't want to hear that. It's about my dating life. But anyway, you only get 3 takes, all right? 3 takes. If I only get 3 takes, you only get 3 takes. I mean, do it 1, 2, or 3. Look how messy this is. Just do your best. That's not about perfection. It's about communicating, all right? And you're a writer, or some of you claim yourselves to be writers. And if that's what you're claiming to be, then you're already awkward anyway. So just allow yourself to be awkward.